G'day guys, my name is Sam from Trade to Prosper. I'm here to give you a Bitcoin update on my perspective, looking at the current scenario, looking at the bullish and the bearish possibilities, and let's see what there's confluence on. So I have a few charts that I had a while ago, and it's a good idea to place your charts in such a way that you keep it honest, so when you come back to it, you can see the truth rather than your perception or what you desire. So what I have here, which is interesting to see, is that this macro trend line that I had some time back was a breakout, and now it's right on the money where it's actually acting as support. That's one perspective for the macro. I was expecting, as you can see, inverted head and shoulders to keep going, but on my last video update, I did become bearish for a number of reasons, and we'll go through that. So here's my other chart. Let's take that out. Okay, here we go. So what I discussed in my previous video, and you'll see that on YouTube, is a wave 5 count. So that was my wave 5. So from an early wave perspective, we had wave 1, 2, wave 3, 4, and 5. And if you look at my fib extension, it hit perfectly on the 1. So that wick was perfect. So no manipulation, no stuff there. So 1 was definitely a resistance level, as well as, if you look back, we had a history of major support, and then resistance. And therefore we got resistance. So that's no surprise for a lot of people. But what does it mean on the macro perspective? That's going to be the hard one. So whenever we look at early wave theory, and I'll bring one out here just for those people who don't know, we can see, let me just get a pen out. Okay. Where is it? Okay. Well, okay, there we go. So basically what Bitcoin done is this, I believe. So we had our previous high and ever so slightly high. Now we're looking for this A, B, C type of correction. And there's 3 types of those corrections. One could be mild, one could be deep, one could be mild, moderate, and deep. And that's what we don't know. But we can have hints based on what we see from a development. So let's just get rid of that pen. Clear. So I just wanted to show you that. By the way, this is available if you go to my website, free course, and you can just go, no signing in, no nothing. Still working in progress. If you just go there, you will see some for the newbies. There's some basic stuff there you can look at. Here's the early waves. Just click on it, and there's a video. And then if you click on more, you'll find out there's a whole bunch of documentation as well. So what we're looking for is ABC correction. I did say in my previous video, if I was to go to this on a smaller time frame, and I'm missing my tools for some reason, interesting enough. There's no tools here. Okay. My day. Damn it. My toolbar is missing. Okay, I'll get the other chart. But what I'm expecting was, the other day I was on the video, I said A, B, and potentially C. And if we were to look at that, that'll be the mild version. I was hoping it was there, but not the case. Then there's the deeper version. So this could be a A. We have a B, a bit of a rally, and then we have a C further down. Yep. And then we have the 5 wake account, where it's much deeper. And then we can have potentially like that A, B, and C, and then back up. Which one is it? We don't know. So from that perspective, we are definitely getting a correction. Now, what signal will tell us that it's not that's the mild correction? If we go sideways. If we go sideways from here, just so we go like that, and then we just keep going sideways all the way through, to me that's going to be a relation type of thing, then that is a bullish sign for new highs. So but from this point, you can't say. The fact that this trend line, very spot on. The fact that when we broke that, I was telling our guys on the a Telegram channel that we were almost broken it, and everyone knows when you break a major trend line, it drops hard. This is the signal for people to get out, and that was the case. So why we drop so hard? It's because we broke this trend line. And you look at many charts, and if you look at here, for instance, here was a trend line, a rising wedge. As soon as you break it, it drops hard, and then it looks for the target. Usually, it's the beginning of the for a rising wedge. It's usually the root. There's some level. So this is the first target, and we hit it. Basically, the second target will be here. If this is a rising wedge of some sort, and it's not the best form, but it can be considered one. So if that's playing out, then I would definitely say that we do our Fibonacci and we start playing defensive, and I'll tell you that most likely the shorts will come in. So it's going to be a shorting market, not a long market, in my opinion. The danger is once we break this level here, if we have a daily candle close below that, it's confirmation that we're going to go down. So this is our weekly trend. Our weekly trend is our lower highs, high, high, lower high, higher high, lower high, ever so slightly high, high. That's why we're bearish, because we didn't make a significant high, high. Then we break this weekly level. So I have my weekly levels here. We're currently on this weekly level, and it's struggling to go above it. It'll be a good sign if it closes above it on the weekend. So that will be a good sign, but are we hopeful? No. If we break this trend, which is that lower high, so if we come down and have a daily close, it's definitely going to go further down. And I'll be looking to short, guys. If it comes up to here, there's definitely going to be a short. And no matter what people say, there is going to be definitely manipulation. Now, I'll look at my other chart. I'm really annoyed by this. Give me a sec, guys. I'll see if I can get that Bitcoin chart again. Is this the one? I can use that because I can't see the tools on this one. So here we go. At least I've got the time frames here. Let's see if I can get that one out again, because they had my liquidity. So there's a bit of liquidity moves as well. Let's see if that's the one. No liquidity on that one. Fortunately, last shot. Let's see if this is going to be it. I couldn't get the name of the chart either. I should have done that. Okay, so interesting enough to see that as well. So if this comes down, this trend line could be a nice support level as well. So if this was to come down, this will be a good trend line that I had identified in the past for a macro. It's a macro channel. So this level could be a nice entry, which is about 23k. Okay. Looking from the moving averages perspective, if you look at this chart from the moving averages, all these moving averages in the past will be acting as support. The moment all these moving averages close or cross over, it becomes bearish. We haven't done that yet. So looking at the moving averages on the weekly, they haven't crossed over, but if they cross over, it's a real bearish sign. And at the moment, the 200 moving average, this green one, is above. So we've broken that. It's not a good sign on that one. That was acting as support. That was a major resistance, major support. But anyway, going back to this, what we had was liquidity pools. This was our liquidity there. Identified it some time back that this could be liquidity that they're searching for. Obviously, the liquidity there, all the longs. So this is a long squeeze. So anyone who went long, they squeezed them out. This was a long position. So that's been taken out. The other long is here. That hasn't been taken out yet. So when we look at it from that perspective, that's a good positive sign if it can rally back up. But we have this upwind, which is strong resistance. Here, what we had here was we had liquidity there, and liquidity. So this took them out. This hunted that, and it hunted that. As price went up, it took the shorts out. So when it grabbed that, it pushed it up. When it grabbed that, it pushed it up. Then there was liquidity for the shorts, short squeeze, that took it out. Here's the same. There's a lot of shorts coming in, and I thought we might be able to get this last bit, but we didn't. So that's a bit disappointing. That would have been my shorting position ideally, but that didn't happen. So there's liquidity that's been taken out for the long. So the long has been squeezed out. But I do feel like this is a wave 5 completion. Based on the bearish divergences that you can see. If we look at this chart, you can see the MACD crossing over on the weekly. That's not a good sign. So that is a bearish divergence. Price is basically flat, and this is pointing down a bit. So the bearish divergence is playing out. If we add our RSI, you can see how bearish divergence that was significant. So that there was no way of that going higher. Problem is that we broke this level. Yeah, this is the weekly, so it's not closed yet. But once a weekly closes, this is going to be confirmation that we are headed down. So how far can it go down? That's where we go. We're saying the ABC type of thing. It might just come back down to this area. From a weekly perspective, it is looking bearish with the indicators as well. Now let's look at the 3-day one. 3 days is the one I relatively like. And let's see how the indicator looks on that. So what we have from the 3-day, ever so slightly, we had that bounce and then we lost it. So the 3-day is looking bearish as well. The MAC definitely bearish divergence in the playing out. And our moving averages are all being broken. So, and this especially 200. I might just make it a different color. So just pink will be probably better. Stands out. That was our major level. And this one is the 20, what is it? The 200 on the SMA. Okay. And this one is weekly. and that's daily. Okay, so that's not good. Bearish in every way you look at it. So for me, that confirms wave 5, ABC correction. Now, if you look at this in the past with accumulation and distribution, let's look at this for a sec. There's a number of scenarios that I've talked about a lot in the past videos, and we said that is our 1, that is our 2, there is our 3, and then we have an A, B, C correction. So in this case, very similar. That was our, this is our 1. Actually, this is our 1. This is our 2. Now, question is this our 3? And then we have this AB correction. My question is A, B, C. Is it going to be along this channel? So our reference point is from that top to that top. So we have the channel defined by this and the bottom, and the 3-day does a good job, so it grabs that as well. So this channel could be, if we just extend that, if it comes down to that level, 20,000, that's good. Still, if this is the worst case scenario I'm looking at, worst case scenario that would come down to 20K and then find support and then back up again. If you look at Bitcoin in the past, it does pull back, and there's cases where, let me just get rid of all this moving averages for a sec. Okay. So in the past, what we had here is a 5 wave, and then this major, this is actually another 5 wave drop, and that's a black swan. But otherwise, ideally, this probably would have gone maybe even a double bottom here, if it wasn't for, maybe even continue on from there, just like that part there. So that could have been our 5 wave count and then up. So if we have another correction of some sort, I think that is viable in that sense. So I'm looking at this macro channel, and when you look at it, so I've got my Fibonacci out there. That is our Fib 1. So again, it can be a strong fib to jump on, and we can look at it from another way, one or two ways from the top to the bottom. Let's just have a look. So even then, look at that, 0.618. So if we use that reference there, even if we use that very top, our golden goes to 618 there as well. Now, unfortunately, what makes things hard is you can also use that as a reference, and we use a second high, and you can see where support came in. Support came in with these fibs. You can see that. So if we use that as a reference, it slightly becomes a bit different. If we use the bottom, the complete bottom, you can see how the 618 acted as support there as well. Now with this trend line, if this was to go sideways, this would be 20K would be the worst case scenario that I'm looking at before it goes up. Now we've got the BlackRock spot ETF disappointment media news, which is probably all bullshit. It's deferred, and it's likely to, the SEC always plays with these guys along with them. So putting the bearish news out there, pretty much a way of shaking out people and letting go of their spot holdings. Short-term holders will drop it, and the data shows that the short-term holders of Bitcoin drop their load, and the big ones, big institutions will buy them up. So this is a scenario where we are both at the major resistance level. So we expect resistance, and we were hoping it would be a bit more bullish. It was a slightly bullish, but we had a good rejection. So 2 attempts pretty much looked like a double top. Now we have this measured move potentially, even from a double top scenario, if we were to do that, and just play the worst case scenario from a double top perspective. Again, it matches that level. And there's other ways of looking at this chart. Give me a sec. The 50% rule that I have. So that's our 50%. So our 50% is down here as well, a strong level. So from a Fibonacci pullback, from that first wave, we're on that fib. So we should expect a little support. We should, but this 200 moving average is likely to be bearish, and then we come down to this golden ratio. Taking a liquidity there as well, and then potentially have a nice rally. Now, the question is, do we make a reversal pattern of some sort? I had this fib major trend line, resistance trend line as well. So I'm looking at that scenario where this becomes the second touch. 1, 2, this will be a third. It's likely to get rejected, and that's where our potential play takes out. It could be even a trend, a channel coming down. There's a lot of ways to look at this, isn't there? It's not easy, but I'll be looking to short and looking for a good support level. That neckline is a very strong resistance, so we should get a good bounce. Would that break through it? And then we just, the thing is, we shouldn't expect, what's the word, moves like this, strong moves like this. We shouldn't expect that because we're still in the early stages of a bull market, and there's a grind. Here we had the phase. So this was a strong move, and when you look at that strong move, for instance, from there to there is 300 and something percent. Here this is okay, 100% roughly. So we should be a bit bullish, but I think this is likely to take place as well, where it's just a grind for a bull market. Either it comes down deeper or it goes sideways. It's very, but we should expect the early stages of a bull market. Here's the other thing: when we look for formations, if we look for formations, this sort of gives us a formation. So we've got our V. Here we had, and it's a very popular formation. You got your V, and then you got this cup. So that's an Adam and Eve formation for major reversal. It could be just a case that we do something like that as well. Maybe here, where this is our cup, and this could be our handle, and then up. So this level, whatever it's going to take place, we are having a correction, like I said, an ABC, moderate or deep, we don't know. But if I was a holder at this point, I would not sell my Bitcoin. I would look to unload a little bit based on what we see. But I believe the bottom is in. That I believe that we're not going to revisit that. If you even look from this perspective, everything just seems to line up. This bottom, actually, let's try this out for a sec, guys. Give me a sec. I want to do something. Go to the weekly. I'll just create a new chart. That's our Bitstamp. I'll look at Binance. Okay. looking at fib time. That's the BTC USD index. Let's look at that. I just want to look at it from a different perspective. Now, if we change this, give me a sec. And I'll just delete everything for it. If you look at this, from a weekly perspective, that's what we had. So, gets rid of all the candlesticks, does a good job. Even the trend here does a good job. When to get out. That was a nice indication. Easy way of knowing how to get out. That was the reason why we have good support. This trend line really does a good job on the weekly. Simple and easy. And so if this was, and let's just do this for a sec. See if I have a few trend lines coming through. So that could be a major resistance. We had this one play out. That's why I went bullish a fair bit. We had this trend line, and once it broke, it became strong and broke out. Do we have this? This is the question. I thought we did. I thought we had this. Let's have a closer look. Let's put the candles back in. We don't need those. And I thought we had something like that. That played its. Because I always wondered why we had a lot of resistance there, and I thought this might be a nice trend line, confluence with support and resistance. And here we might just find support, but that's not to say it can't keep going down like that to another nice fib. So if we do this. $618, okay. Yeah, perfect. From there to there, golden ratio. Time will tell, but we'll see if that trend line counts. If this is the trend line, if that's a new trend line, we can get rid of that. So that one definitely makes sense. It's got a lot of confluence with previous resistance. So that's what I was looking for, a shorting position. Hopefully it took the liquidity out of here. This is what I was hoping for. Bang and down, but didn't play out. Bearish, definitely bearish. You can see that level. If we lose that level, we're looking for a bounce. The 200 moving average is likely to play resistance, come back down, and the thing is, do we get a W? It is a hard one, but if so, we'll get the shorts here. I'm pretty confident that we'll get the shorts here. Comes back down. If it doesn't hold, then it's going to hit this line, and that's a good level. Point of control, and it probably makes so if that's our 1, 2, that could be our 3, that could be our 4, and then we have our major targets, and also the cup and handle. So that's a bullish perspective. So yes, we lose our weekly, but we're still in accumulation range. So if we look at this structure from a Wyckoff perspective, let's do that. If we look at this from a Wyckoff perspective, definitely our sell and climax is here. automatic response or rally, secondary test. It's our upthrust. It makes sense that we have to pull back. It makes sense. The worst case scenario is that we come back down and then sweep below this from a Wyckoff perspective. There's a lot of people claiming the stock market's going to drop a fair bit, so that's the scenario there. What I haven't shown is this here. US Tether. And yesterday I was looking at it, and I'll show you what I'm thinking of. Tether is a good indicator of what's going on. So this is our Tether dominance. I did say that this looks like an inverted head and shoulders. So that's pretty evident, and that was a target roughly there. In confluence with previous, that was our previous bottom. That's a previous bottom. Problem is this structure, I'm not really comfortable with. If this breaks above it, then we look for a new bottom, and potentially, so this is the previous selling climax when Tether is at its almost all-time high. And if it does break this level, Tether is likely to go up to this level here, and that will be our new bottom. From a fib extension, this was our one, so I can understand why that was the bottom. 15k, that was our 15k level, and not the best 15k, but that was our 15k bottom. This was other previous bottoms here as well, major levels. So if we break this, we are likely to come back here again, or even probably slightly higher. So I'll be watching this for the alts. So, and if that's the case, we can see how I've put this. That's our 1, 2, from an elliott wave perspective, 3, 4. We have this triangular complex wave for elliott wave for 3 and 4, which is understandable. And if we have a breakout, and this still fits the Wyckoff model, buying climax, upthrust, and potentially last bit, and then our bull market starts. So I'll be watching this level, and I'll be if I see any reversal candles on the daily, even 4 hour, I'll put all my funds into it if that's the case, and leverage. That's what I'm looking at, and obviously it's got to align with the other charts. But so from Tether perspective, that's where it's at. From other coins, let's see, Optimism. Yep, I took some profit. It bounced pretty strong, far out. That was a strong bounce. Damn it. And I had this for a while, I think WorldCoin, and that was a good bounce, and I missed that. I stepped through it. So I did say this is likely to happen, and it's on my golden ratio, 1.618, based on a few assumptions. So that was a good entry. Damn it, I slept through that. And that is how much percentage? I just didn't look at that. 14%. Would have been nice to average in there. There's a whole bunch of charts, obviously. Ethereum is not the best. Oh, it bounced a fair bit. Far out. So it's showing you that buying the dips is taking place. And Ethereum's not out there. It's not as bad. If you look at the moving averages, it's really, that's the 50 weekly, so it's above that, but you can see where the resistance is now. So we might go sideways, like I said, and there is some strategy to trading this market. Swing failure patterns, if you don't know, you should look at that. There's a whole bunch of stuff on the internet to look it up, but I'll be trading this small term wise. I'm 20% out from the top, so I'm not really until I lose that macro, this weekly level, I will start scaling out as it drops. But at the moment, I'm already 20% out. That's fine. And I'm looking for a bullish market. So this part is hard. If you don't want to trade, just hodl. There were signs here to get rid of some of your coins. So that's what I pretty much did here. The alts got smashed. That's the problem. I'm going to leave that, guys. If you want to ask questions or follow me on Telegram or Discord, it's in my signature. Come and join us. And from time to time, I'll do updates. If you don't ask questions, I don't answer. And I just post what I do until people ask me questions. So I'm going to leave it at that. Please give me a like and share on the internet. And like I said, you can, for the newbies, you can come here on my website. Just go to this level here, free course, and you can see the basics. Oops, I should have done that. Free course here. And you got all these basic, there's some videos and documentation. So that's for the newbies. All right, talk to you soon. Cheers.